We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.
Hey guys, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U.
Your name is Paul.
Your name is Rob, and this is Ask Drone U.
Yes, it is, and this is episode
Number 277.
Whew, yes.
Ah!
And
What?
oh,
And we
thank
appreciate
you.
And you fail.
just having fun with you today,
Yeah,
Rob.
No, it's not very much fun. No, it is. It's a blast. We we do thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us.
Well, thank you for saying that because we really actually
we
do
really do.
appreciate those reviews. We appreciate the shares, and we appreciate all the love on Instagram. And guess what? You know how we love when people tag us in their photos on Instagram and we repost them to show off their cool skills? Well, guess what? We're going to be doing the same thing here. So send in your photos to support@thedroneu if you want to have them featured on the show so we can show off your skills. And I know it's helped other people out get business, and it's helped people kind of get leverage over audience and whatnot. So send those in. We love to show people what you're doing because, frankly, it's cool.
Yeah, and you know what I hear? They can send in videos as well.
Really?
So we're going to do both. Now, I don't know how we're going to do this, if it's going to be like a photo category and a video category. So we're going to do both. John's nodding his head. Thank you, John. Anyways, no, it's going to be cool. So we're going to do a countdown every week, right?
He also told me he's getting a new tattoo right above his waistline on his back.
One of them, I'm not going to say it because somebody
Tramp stamps?
Oh.
No, he said on his butt cheek.
Oh, gosh. John, this is a family show.
They do say Drone U is awesome, but that's the first Drone U tattoo I've seen, Rob.
That's a good idea. Somebody, not us, but a listener, show us, not in places we don't need to be seeing. But anyways, in all seriousness, send those in. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to feature you guys, and we're going to count them down. One video or photograph, or both, one of each every day of the week.
If it's one thing that I like to see, Bob, it's tattoos. Sorry, that's my announcer anchorman voice. Whenever I go to these live events that I'm doing, I always kind of make fun of the announcers because there's like, it's a beautiful day. It's sunny outside and those bums are shiny. Let's have a good day, guys. I mean, the things they say sometimes are just ridiculous. So that's my...
A good announcer, somebody that does that seriously and well, is worth their weight in gold because it's hard to do.
It is very difficult to do. Someone actually made fun of the announcers at Worlds in 2014. They're like, I heard someone one time say that wake surfing is a lot like gymnastics. And then the guy was like, and you know what, Bob? I gotta say, wake surfing is just like gymnastics where you gotta be flexible and you're always moving on that board. And it was like, oh, dear God, they did it again. Anyway, guys, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. Got a good question today from our buddy, Quad Guy 27. Why don't we just roll that?
All right.
Hello, Drone U, Paul, Rob, and the Drone U community. It's Quad Guy 27 back with another wondrous question for you. Today, my question has to do with the Matrice 100. You see, I don't hear anything about it. I mean, it's really cool looking. It's not looking like a DJI product, so I'm kind of like digging that, and it's buildable. You could customize it to make it your own. You can make it do whatever you want. The SDK, is that thing sold with an SDK? What kind of information do you have on the Matrice? I think it's quite amazing that it'll take all the cameras and everything else, but you can add batteries and collision avoidance, and it's just really neat, but nobody talks about it. So that's all I had. Thank you. Quad Guy 27 out. Drone U is awesome, by the way. Don't you forget it.
And don't you forget it.
Quad Guy 27 is awesome.
Right.
In all seriousness, I love and appreciate that you send as many questions as you do, and they're always good ones.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry if my ADD mind noticed the fact that they were using the English alphabet in the Chinese parking structure in that video.
Oh,
I thought that was
wow.
interesting.
I was
Anyway,
not paying attention to that.
Matrice 100, Rob, since you know so much about it, go ahead.
Oh, please. Whatever.
No, you said you were going to get me multiple times, so I'm just letting you start off with the...
Here's the deal. Everybody kind of knows my role. I don't know much about the actual drones. That's
why
what
it
you're
says
here for.
Paul Tamer.
Paul Tamer.
Or maybe it's over here.
Well, that would
Yeah.
be me. Oh, yeah, that would be above me. Yeah, Paul Tamer. Anyways, no, I mean, it sounds like a really, really cool machine. Again, it's another one that we've not flown. But
No, haven't flown it, but it does have a similar setup and operating system as the Inspire 1. It's got the A2 flight controller. It's got the same motors, same props. It's an awesome bird. You know, it was one of the first to offer guidance before Intel came out with the RealSense technology. It was the first to offer guidance, and it was kind of the baseline in which we can compare guidance drones. You know, because when I went to the Unique and Intel booths at CES, and we sat down and spoke with the Intel group on the limitations and whatnot. The RealSense technology has the exact same limitations as the Matrice 100. You know, you really can't use the guidance over 10 miles an hour. You know, it's not really going to work that
not yet.
too well. Not yet, yeah. But, you know, one thing, the real kind of goal for the Matrice is that if you want to fly multiple payloads, if you want to have excessively long flight time, you can do those things. It's kind of like the prosumer version of industrial drones,
Right.
except you don't get the reliability of, say, an octocopter of a hexacopter. With an octocopter or hexacopter, you lose a motor, you lose a prop, you can still land. Now, a lot of people are like, it's so hard to land, though. Yeah, you have to keep constant pressure on your yaw in order to control the torque from the motors when you do lose the prop or a motor. So is it difficult to land? Yes. Can you do it? Absolutely. And frankly, it would be one of those tests that I would love to see Drone U do when we go into the more advanced classes where you put up an S1000 and actually turn off a motor and make them land it.
I'm looking forward to that. So one of the questions I have, Paul, is it talks about heavier payloads, but it's still just 4 motors, right? And they're the same size as the Inspire?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge. Now, remember all the things that are in the Inspire 1. Now, the Inspire 1 can also take more payload than what's on there right now. We know that because the X5 is a much heavier setup.
Okay, so but that's just not the purpose of the Inspire.
Correct. Now, another purpose, like, for example, what would you use a Matrice for over an Inspire 1? A Matrice would be a phenomenal platform to load multiple cameras. So you could have an X3 and an XT on that drone, and I mean, you could literally do radio-controlled thermography and radio-controlled visual and then overlay those 2 images in real time, and that would be significantly beneficial for, say, emergency services, for roofing inspectors. I mean, I think this is more of an industrial-grade drone without the industrial-grade reliability.
And actually very versatile. It sounds like there's a lot of different things that could be done with it. Obviously, you can put 2 batteries on it.
Yeah, that's really cool. You know, that's probably the only way that you would ever really get 30 minutes of flight time is, you know, 2 TB48 batteries. I mean, you think about how much power that is. It's insane. And a lot of people, too, don't understand why the DJI Inspire 1 batteries are able to have such a linear line of power. You know, normally with LiPo batteries, it's not a linear curve of power. So the further you go, you know, your voltage drops off. It's more of a, you've got power, bam. The thing is that the DJI batteries, the TB47 and the TB48, are actually wired as a 6S2P, so they're in parallel twice. So if they weren't in parallel twice, it would normally be pushing out, say, 48 volts instead of 24 volts. So we have, in my eyes, a more reliable source of power. That being said, yeah, you're going to get crazy endurance out of this thing. So if you are doing large autonomous missions, if you are doing lots of mapping, if you're doing, you know, radiometric thermography, if you're doing emergency services or persistent surveillance is another one that you could use it for. It would be great for all of those things.
What about, so we did a podcast a day or 2 ago, time flies, and we talked about using, what were we talking about using to spray, right?
The Agris.
The Agris. Would this be the drone that you could
MG1.
use before the Agris to figure out where you need to spray?
Sure.
Very much in layman's
Absolutely.
terms I'm talking
Absolutely.
here.
Yes. Some people would argue that a fixed wing may be better for covering large areas,
Okay.
and I couldn't agree more. But for most mapping solutions, I think that yes, it would be a phenomenal vehicle for
Okay.
getting that information. You
Cool.
know, but then my question would be, well, what if we could just stick the cameras on the Agris drone and it could do the autonomous missions? But then
That's true.
you decrease the lifespan. So there's always these like little caveats.
All right, so it's something that we can make a future project, or not.
You could,
I could.
yeah.
All right, cool. I'll look forward to that. With your help, what kind of range does this have?
The range is no different than the light bridge system that you would see on the Inspire one. It uses the exact same remote setup. That being said, you could also get the remote extender and get 9 miles. So
Okay.
most people don't do that. Could you? Sure, totally. Yeah. But another great thing is this could carry a LiDAR sensor. This could carry a multispectral sensor. Like this could carry sensors that the Inspire 1 could not carry. So you have more flexibility. I guess the best way to put it in a nutshell is that with the Matrice, you have more flexibility, more endurance, and more capability.
Okay. It sounds like a very versatile drone, and it's interesting to me that it hasn't been talked about more, frankly.
Well, it's because, it really goes to show who is the market for drones. And right now it's very focused on photography and videography.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
And we're seeing this emergence more in commercial applications, and DJI is keeping pace with the world. So
Yeah, it actually is pretty impressive. And again, we are not DJI fanboys, but you can't help but be impressed with sort of the breadth of products that they have.
It's funny. Just yesterday, I saw a new breakdown of the top 50 commercial drones. Do you know which brand is the top 8 commercial drones that make up 82% of all of the drones?
Well, number one, I didn't know there were 50. Number two, it's got to be DJI. I mean, of course.
Yeah, it was like Phantom 2, Phantom 3 Pro, Inspire 1, Phantom 2 H3 3D, S100 or S1000, S900. I mean, like literally the top of the entire graph was DJI. And if you have that type of market penetration, there is a reason for that. You are providing either the best quality or there is some sort of unfair competitive advantage. Just like when you're doing a business canvas, when you're trying to start a business, they ask you, what is your unfair competitive advantage? That is their unfair competitive advantage. They've created the most reliable quality product on the market.
Right. So in terms of market share, it's interesting. I'm going to be interested, Paul, to see what happens over time with DJI because even though they've got great products like the Matrice, you kind of get that similar with Windows, right? And then Apple came out, and a lot of people went with Apple just because it wasn't Windows.
It's true.
I mean, do you think we're going to see that with drones other than DJI?
I think we're seeing that right now with Unique and with 3D Robotics. But from what I just heard from another very important person in the drone world is that Unique just took over the market share for 3D Robotics. Now, that's unsubstantiated information. It's speculative. But I think it was very clear at CES who was trying to give DJI a run for their money. I mean, that little hexacopter, it doesn't sound like the other Typhoon. It sure didn't fly like the other Typhoon. It had a lot more power and a lot more oomph to it.
Well, I know you came away impressed with it, unexpectedly.
I was unexpectedly impressed, but again, I have not had the ability to fly it or test it. I would love to go hang out with Trent Sigurd and go out there with the Unique team and really test that bad boy and get some information on it. So,
John, set that up.
Hey, John, can you get on that right now? I've got Trent's cell phone number on my phone. Cool, thanks.
Anyways,
so now that's done, and we've scheduled it.
That's right. I think he'll have it done in about 72 hours.
No, it is done.
Oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how fast we work here at Drone U.
That's impressive. I had no idea.
I speak telepathically to people, so I gave him the phone number through the microphone. It was like,
so let me ask you this: Do you want a Matrice, or would it come into the office and just kind of sit here because you'd go fly your Inspire? Ooh, I didn't know we needed Jeopardy music for this.
Well, I mean, since Drone U is reining back how much flying I'm doing, because we're replacing that with training, I I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
You heard it here first. He doesn't know.
There's a lot of things I don't know, Rob, but thank you very much for keeping my level of humbleness high
No, I just because
and ego low.
that's one way that I gauge the influence of a particular drone is how interested you are in it and getting it in here because of some use that you see for it. That's why I ask.
Let me put it this way. If we were doing more roof inspections, if we were doing more mapping, which I know people love mapping, I think it's great, but you got to understand there are certain key points to mapping that if you don't hit these key points, the maps you make are literally useless. That being said, if I were doing more commercial activity, I think it would be a great platform.
Yeah.
I think it would be a really great platform. I'm not doing enough autonomous missions, in my opinion, to make use of the Matrice.
Gotcha. So how important is it for somebody who is looking at that world to get to have the SDK elements with the drone that they buy?
I mean, if you're a programmer or have a team of programmers, then that is the unfair competitive advantage, is that you can make the Matrice 100 do whatever you want. So if we were to take the example,
scary if you think about it.
If you were to take the example of Gridlock, right? Gridlock is a project that we worked on with Sandia National Labs, Los Alamos National Labs. It is something that we've got in our back pocket. It's one of the things that
5-year plan, maybe.
One of the things that we don't really talk about, but in that example, the Matrice 100 would be the perfect drone for the Gridlock system.
That helps me.
Yeah. So to put it in terms, just imagine autonomous possibilities at a constant, continuous scale.
Autonomous deployment, mission, and landing.
You already gave away too much.
Oh, whatever.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget, send in those pictures if you want us to highlight them so you can see your work on this and so other people can as well. I mean, we've been getting crazy number of downloads. We've been growing. That's really all thanks to you. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
That's right. And if you have a question, ask droneu.com. Send them in. We'd love to get those from you.
And we love the wondrous question, Quad Guy 27. So thank you again so much. And I think, Rob, that's going to do it for us today.
Awesome. It's been fun.
You're bald, and I'm not. And this is Ask Drone U.
We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.